Hey, welcome to today's show. Right now we got a 92 Mustang in the shop. It's got some fuel delivery issues, so after the intro, I'll give you more details on what's going on with this car. Mustang here. We're doing some dyno tuning this week, and we ran it really good for about 2 hours, and then we started to get some fuel delivery issues. The car would run for about a minute, and then it would shut off. And we did a little diagnosis and found that when it was doing this, we only had about 10 psi in the rails, and you really need probably a minimum of 20 to have the car running. But to be at the most optimal performance, it needs to be at least 30. So we got it back here. Had towed it to the shop because it just wouldn't run for anything. So these cars are known for fuel pump relays to go bad, but since this car is 25 years old, it could have the original pump for all we know. We know the relay is original, so we're just going to go ahead and change both. So right now, I am going to try to drain all the fuel out manually since the pump still does function, and then we're going to drop the tank and change the pump, change the relay, and hopefully that will be good to go from there. So one of the big advantages of changing a fuel pump, if the fuel pump still runs, is that you can somehow command the pump to come on and drain all the fuel out of the tank so you don't have to drop a heavy tank. I've done that many times, and I can tell you from experience, trying to drop a tank in the driveway that's got a lot of fuel in it, it's very heavy, it's just not a fun job. So if you can get all the fuel out of the tank, that is the best, definitely the best way to go. So here I'm under the car of our 92 Mustang here, and I've located the pressure line and the return line. You can tell that because the pressure line's always larger diameter than the return line. Now this is an older car, a little bit older technology, and new cars today, a lot of new cars don't have a return line, just have a pressure line. So these are the connects here where these go up. These are hard lines that go up to the fuel rail at the top of the engine where the injectors are. And to disconnect these, I have to have a special tool like this disconnect tool, and you can get these at any auto parts store. I think I got these at Harbor Freight, and they have to fit, they're all different sizes, and they have to fit snug around this diameter. They can't be too big or they can't be too small. But you'll know once you put it on there and try to feed it up if it's going to be the wrong size. Now what I first have to do then, I have to get this clip off, and then I have to take this tool. And if you look at this little hat, there's a metal spring ring thing in here, and that holds the one line to the other line. Now then, to use this tool, all you have to do is just put it around this diameter here and then push it up. And when it does then, it expands that little ring so you can pull this line down, which I'm going to do now, like that. I'm surprised we didn't get any fuel out of there. So you see this little catch here, that's actually what seats in here, and that ring seats against it so it doesn't come out under pressure. Then it's also a good time to inspect these O-rings so they're not have any tears or they're not damaged. If you have an issue with one of these, it definitely could cause a leak then, and you don't want fuel spraying all into your car. So now that I disconnected the line, I'll take my disconnect tool off, and I am going to just take this line, and I have a gas can right here, and I'm just going to put it into the gas can, and then I'm going to go up top. Then I'm done under here, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to turn the pump on. And then when I get all done, I'm going to put this all back together after I inspect the O-rings. And to put this back in while I'm under here, you just put that and you just push it. You hear it kind of a little click, and you know it's back into position. So I'm going to take this back out, put it in a gas can, and then I'm going to move over then and show you how I'm going to get the pump on to drain all the fuel out of the tank. So what I did with this particular car with our 92 Mustang, I dug up the wiring diagram, and I looked at the schematic for the fuel pump relay, and then I went over and found the relay, which is over here close to the right side fender, so it's real easy to get to. And I found the wire that's hot at all times, and then the wire that would feed the from the relay hot to the fuel pump. And I just rigged up a wire here, and I'm going to connect it, and right there you can hear the pump came on and all the fuel's draining out. So I'm going to do this until all the fuel runs out of the system, and then I can go ahead and drop the tank and get that fuel pump out and change it. So now I'm at the back and under the car, and I want to start prepping the tank so I can remove it. And one of the first things I'm going to do here then is I want to disconnect these soft lines from these hard lines that are attached to the body of the car. Now with our pressure line here, we have this clip, and you'll see these two little white tabs, and at the top here there's like a flat part of the clip, and all you got to do is pull on that flat part with a little screwdriver, and then that clip will pop right out and that pressure line will pop right off. With the return line, you have to use a quick disconnect tool again like I used in the front, but of course you see the diameter there. It's a much smaller size than the front. Sometimes you can take a little screwdriver and move the move this particular tab, because it's just this little tab in here that's plastic that's holding it up against the line, but I like to try to use a tool if I can so you don't damage anything. And then here's our fuel filter, and this is a good time to bring up that anytime you do a job like this, you should change the fuel filter proactively. It's just good practice. And then once we have the tank out, it'll be much easier to get up in there and remove the filter and replace it. So that's definitely something we're going to do. And then to remove the tank, then we're just going to remove the bolts that hold on these two straps, and then the tank will come right out. Now I'm going to show you the opposite side because I'm actually laying under the other strap right now, and I can't show you that. So I'm going to actually go and get my safety glasses because I forgot to bring them, and that's something that I want to bring up. It's really important to do a job like this that you definitely want to wear safety glasses at all times. So you never know where the fuel is going to go and how it's going to spray when you start taking things apart. So I'm going to go get those right now, and then I'm going to work on taking the lines off and then taking the bolts out so I can pull the tank out. So always make sure you disconnect the wiring harness for the electronics when you drop the tank. Hopefully it's easy to get to without taking the tank down first. Sometimes you got to drop the tank down then disconnect it. This particular car is easy. It's right here, right, easily accessible when the tank is still in. So I'm going to go ahead, and it looks like it's been disconnected before. Disconnect it. That's my harness. Get it out of the way, and then I'm going to go ahead and bolt the tank. So I got the tank out, and I'm going to hit on these 3 flats here to get this ring off to take the fuel pump out. Real important to use a brass punch to drive these and move this ring. Potentially if you use something metal to metal, you create a spark and these gas fumes could ignite. So I'm just going to tap on these like I said and push this ring and then be able to take the assembly out so I can get the pump out. Switching around a little bit. The ring doesn't lock up. The ring's free, almost. There we go. Take the ring out. Kind of work this out a little bit. It's probably going to be at an angle. Oh, you gotta move it, I guess, backwards and forwards again, around, and there's my pump with my screen. And now I'm going to go ahead and swap this out with my new pump and screen that I bought for the auto parts store. So for our 92 Mustang, I went out and got a Carter fuel pump. It's an OE spec pump. This is a naturally aspirated engine. It's not super turbocharged, so I really don't think you need something high volume. We are running a 347 stroker, and our last dyno pull was about 340 horsepower at the rear wheels. But again, for what we're doing here and for that horsepower, I really don't think we need anything crazy. So with that kit, you get a new pump, and then you get this kit that has a screen in it, or some people call it a sock. You get the clips that you need. You get a hose, which is important to replace. And then you get this seal, which seals this unit to the tank, and then it compresses it together. And this is our ring that we took off. So that's important to change that as well. So this is actually a real simple application. We're going to remove these 4 bolts here, and we're going to take this clamp apart basically, and then we're going to take this hose out and just put the new one on, and then we're going to replace the sock. So again, if you don't get a sock with your kit, you definitely should go buy one. If you got a lot of debris in it and the pump goes bad and it's under warranty, they won't replace it if they find a lot of debris in the pump because the sock wasn't replaced. It will void the warranty. So I'm going to get this apart and back together, and this will all be ready to put back in the tank, and we get the tank back in the car. It's just that simple. So I finished all complete with this rebuild. I have the new pump on, the new hose, the clamps are tight, got the new screen on. It's just press fits into the bottom of the pump. And then I got my new gasket here for sealing this body to the tank. So I'm going to put this in the car now, and I'm going to seal the ring the same way I did before by using the brass punch and walking it till it locks up tight onto these tabs here against the body in the tank, and then I'm going to put the tank back in the car, hook the lines back up, and then finish putting my relays back in, my new relay for my fuel pump, and then I'm going to start it and see what happens. So I got everything buttoned back up. I got the tank in with the new fuel pump. I made all the connections. I got a new fuel pump relay in. I put a new fuel filter in. Most importantly, I filled the tank with gas. I put my shades on so when the vehicle starts I can go for a nice cruise. So the first thing I'm going to do is turn the key on and make sure that the pump actually does come on. And yes, I could hear it come on. And now what I'm going to do is start the vehicle and make sure that it runs. That's all the time we got for today. Good luck with your projects, and remember, it's not a rewarding day unless you get dirty.